Hey YouTube, I wanted to do a video today talking about race and culture. It's something I've been thinking a lot about. Just with all the events that are going on in the world, with what's happening in the Middle East, what's happening in the United States with the amnesty, it got me, thinking about it. And it's good to research things like that, I think, because we might have a lot of beliefs that aren't necessarily true. I mean, a lot of things that are taken as common sense or as things that people tell you, unless you research it for yourself, you really don't know. And basically what I read and what I believe is that there's no such thing as race. I mean, the genetic differences between all of humans is so small. We're like 99.99% equal. And I mean, if we were so different, we wouldn't be able to breed together. I mean, we can breed and there's no problems. And also, it's kind of hard to really break people down into races. I mean, they say there's three major races, right? Caucasians, blacks, and Asians. But I mean, there's a lot of subcategories to all of them. What about like Aboriginals? Southeast Asians, are they the same as Chinese? Or Southern Africans the same as Northern Africans? Are Latinos the same as Caucasians? I mean, and then on top of that, all of the mixing that has gone on, it's hard. I mean, who is really pure except for maybe some tribal primitive people that they've remained pure? But I mean, all those sub-races and the mixing, I mean, you could easily say that maybe there's 300 different races, really, right? So I don't know, I think it's just hard to categorize things like that. But in terms of culture, I mean, I definitely do think there's major cultural differences, and if you don't believe that, then I don't know. I mean, I didn't necessarily believe it until I started traveling around, and you experience different countries, the way they do things, the quality of the work, the way that they think, the value that they place on education, on infrastructure, on sanitation. I mean, there's major differences, and you can't just say that it's someone oppressing them, or why are certain cultures able to rise to the top and others not. I mean, it's something that's been passed down from generation to generation. And they proved it because the Japanese, they needed workers, and they brought over a bunch of Brazilian Japanese because they didn't really want to change their culture, so they figured they could bring over Brazilian Japanese people to work in their factories. But they ended up not being able to associate with them that much because they found their culture was so much different. Like the Brazilian Japanese were making lots of noise, and they're being real wild, stealing things, and they all ended up pretty much, or not all of them, but a lot of them ended up in Japan just on welfare. You know what I mean? Like the same supposed race, but the cultural differences of them growing up in Brazil made them to be a different type of people. And the only way that you could change the culture is through re-education. Taking children away from their parents and training them to think differently. That would be the only way that you could really change any kind of like cultural identity. But I mean, you see with the way the world is going, it's interesting because we're becoming more global. All the countries are becoming more interconnected, and they wanted to, make multiculturalism, but if you look at it, it really doesn't seem to be working. I mean, you look at the Arabs, the Muslims are separating themselves, like with ISIS. They're breaking down the borders, and they're like, going more along tribal lines, and they're rejecting globalism. And with the way the internet is, people aren't adapting to their new societies anymore. When they integrate, they remain, with their same language, their same beliefs. Because like I said, with the internet, they can remain in contact with their old culture, and also with cable television. Say for example in the States, you can get your like Latino television or Arab television, and you stay in that community and mindset, and that's what people seem to enjoy, staying within their culture. If they have the choice, they no longer have to assimilate like they used to. I don't know, I think it's an interesting topic, and it's worth thinking about. I don't know if anybody else has any thoughts about it. Be interested to hear what you have to say. Thanks.